quite excited and nervous at the same time.
Honestly, I think I'm very excited but nervous at the same time. You know, it's something new, it's something I haven't done before.
I feel like this will help my mindset, and I think I'll become a better person by enrolling in this program.
I think this is a very cool opportunity. I'm very excited to see what it holds, what I can learn from it, and what happens afterwards.
We take this very seriously in helping our young people to move closer to finding their direction in life.
They walk away with a different perspective about themselves, but also a different perspective in terms of what is possible for them.
So I'd say that I learned that it had a lot more potential than I even realized.
I loved seeing how they work and how the mind works.
I actually learned that I really love meeting new people. I'm, very good at working with people.
I learned more about myself.
I'm also quite adaptable and flexible.
Yeah, I would say I learned that I'm actually very brave.
The biggest thing that I've learned is that I'm unaware of how much there is to learn.
The leadership qualities that I do have.
I think I learned that anything is possible. I can do anything.
Welcome, honored guests, faculty, parents, and students. It's an absolute honor to be here today to celebrate your accomplishments this year. We have a very exciting lineup, including a phenomenal keynote speaker who is literally out of this world, and of course, the much anticipated certificate award ceremony. But first, let's get back to business. I have a few housekeeping tips I would like to share for today's procession. Firstly, we would really appreciate it if you could keep your videos on. We'd love to see you guys and love to see how excited and grateful you are to be at this milestone today. Please keep your microphones off when the speakers are speaking, but we do, however, encourage you to share your comments, thoughts, etc. in the chat. So use that one. Applaud, celebrate, whoop whoop, whatever feels appropriate. When your names come up, when your classmates' names come up, we'd love to hear how excited you are, because we know this is really a fantastic milestone today. Stay until the end, please. We'd love to see you all, and we have some final words of thanks and some final thoughts we'd like to share at the end of today's session. So please stick with us. And then lastly, if you have not already done so, please go to the chat and download the Zoom background and put that on your screen. Then we can all be matchy-matchy in maroon. Next up, just would really like to encourage you as well to share on social media. This is a fantastic event. Tell the world that you have done and created this accomplishment for yourself. And of course, remember to tag us, #YoungMinds2024. Next up, it is my pleasure to just announce the order of proceedings today. So, of course, introductory message, myself, that's been short and sweet. After me, I will be handing over the floor to our CEO, Dr. Chris van der Werven. We then have our much anticipated keynote address by Dr. Adriana Marais, who I'll tell you a little bit more about shortly. Then, of course, we have acknowledgements. Kevin Henderson will be saying a few words of thanks to the amazing people that have put this together. And then also a message from your LPF, your learning process facilitator, Dr. JP Cronier, and also a shout out to him there, who's just recently obtained his doctorate. The certificate award procession will then continue. We'll be sharing all the student names, as well as the top group and the top student. A final word of thanks by Kevin Henderson, and then closing and farewell by myself. And we'll do the best in our ability to stick with those approximate timings. Right, next up, it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage our CEO, Dr. Chris van der Werven. So Dr. Chris van der Werven has been CEO at Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development since 2018. Previously, he was academic director at Wits Business School and a senior fellow at Cambridge University. With a BSc from UCT, an MBA from Cranfield, and a PhD from Cambridge, Chris has taught at leading global business schools, including Stockholm School for Economics, Kentucky Business School in the United States, and Nanjing in China. Specializing in strategy and innovation management, he has extensive international experience, working with executive teams in over 40 different countries. Before moving into academia, Chris worked in industry. Please let's share a round of applause for Dr. Chris van der Werven. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Malvi. Good morning, everybody. Let me quickly say congratulations in case I forget, because that's what this is all about. And a warm welcome, add my warm welcome to everybody. And also, I just want to take a very brief opportunity to say thank you to everybody, all of my colleagues. Congrats, JP, on your recent achievement, but also to everybody who's been working on Young Minds on the fantastic job that you do. If you'll indulge me just for a second, by the way, I have two daughters who are in their 20s, and so I'm used to sitting at the dining room table, and when I get to say a few words, their default position is to roll their eyes and go, oh dear, here's dad again. But I do think that it's really important to say that in the trajectory of your careers and of your lives, that these kind of awards definitely need to be celebrated. But I want to just remind you to also celebrate the things that you don't get certificated for, because that's part of building character. And when you down the road are recruiting people, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a corporate captain of industry, wherever you end up, you'll be recruiting people. And the thing that's not on their CV is the character that they bring. And so you'll see the certificates, the diplomas, the degrees, whatever other fantastic achievements they have that are formal things where they came out ahead of everybody else. But what's very difficult to discern is the character of the individual. So I was put onto this recently by thinking about the poor old All Black rugby team who've been dominant in world rugby for so long, and now for the last little while have been under the shadow of the Springboks. And I almost dare not speak about it because I don't want to jinx it. But there was a very nice book written about 10 years ago by James Kerr called Legacy, which is about the All Blacks and about how they had been dominant. They have won 85% of all the test matches they've ever played. In anybody's language, that's an incredible achievement. And in that book, James Kerr refers to various people, but one of the people he cites is somebody called Dave Brooks. Dave Brooks has written a book called The Road to Character. He's also written a couple of other books that are very insightful. But what I wanted to just share with you is the difference between, just to describe what character is very briefly, but to say there's two kinds of character that you might just want to be aware of. One is performance character. And performance character is your ability to be disciplined, to learn quickly, to adapt because of what you learn, your resilience when you keep failing. And the people who are really good at these things are, for example, authors. You know, authors will write, when they're writing a novel, they'll write a piece and then put it to one side, think about it, come back, rewrite it. And they might rewrite the same piece of work over and over, however many times. It's like a simulation. And speaking of simulations, airline pilots, and of course, somebody like our guest speaker later, might use a simulation to practice things under duress to make sure they can cope with extreme situations. Football players might practice trying to hit the nets. Cricketers would do the same. You know, there's a whole surgeons practice, paramedics practice, and so on. And the thing about these things is when everybody else has kind of left the field, character is defined by the fact that you are that person that carries on practicing to try and make sure that you have done as much as you can possibly do. If you are like me, if I think back to my younger days, I can remember being at a rugby training session, and the difference between the people that were going to be good and the people that were like me was that when the end of the training session happened, I was straight into the change rooms, and the guys that were going to do really well were the blokes that stayed out on the field, continuing doing their fitness exercises and so on, long after I'd lost interest. So performance character is the one that I think we know about. In learning terms, it's very obvious what performance character is. It's very kind of measurable, but what you don't see is the things that you try to learn that you don't quite crack, and it can be disorientating, and it can have a negative effect on you. So why is it that my friend on my left and my associate on my right, they can understand these concepts really easily, and I'm struggling to get it? And what I want to do is to just help you by buying you a little bit of time and saying, take comfort from the fact that even in that situation, practice is what eventually gets you across the line. I find, for example, that reading an awful lot is something that really helps me get my head around and triangulate different concepts and ideas and ideals. And then there's another kind of character, and this is the one that's that I think is important to be aware of, and that is so-called moral character. So you've got performance character, and then you've got moral character. And moral character can be summarized by saying it's the things that you do when nobody's looking. When you have a choice to do something negative or bad or morally inappropriate, and you do the right thing anyway, or you make a sacrifice on behalf of your community or your society or your friends or people who you don't even know, that's moral character. And that's also, it's impossible to measure. So moral character might be, just to link it to performance character, it might be that you know that a friend of yours lacks confidence. And if I was to go back to the sort of cliched sports analogies, you're in a running race and you know your friend hasn't done well all season and their confidence is depleted. So in the last 10 meters, you just slow down a little bit so that they can come tie with you or beat you or end up finish ahead of you. It's a sacrifice. They don't know you've made the sacrifice, but it's something that you do because you have moral character. And I think if you combine these two things together, whether you're starting your own business or whether you are being employed potentially, these are things that move you forward in the queue, if I can call it that. They help you to get to your destination better. The payoff might take a long time to happen, but it's really important that you're aware of the fact that the payoff is absolutely certainly going to be there. And one of my favorite quotes, and my colleagues at work are sick and tired of hearing me say this, but Warren Buffett says that you need three things if you employ somebody. The one is you need that they have energy. The other is that you need that they have a good work ethic. That they're intelligent. And the third thing that you need is that they have integrity. Now, integrity is moral character in my view. But his comment is, he says, if you have somebody who's got energy and intelligence, you better hope that they've also got integrity, because if they don't, you're in trouble, because they then channel that energy and intelligence in the wrong direction and in the wrong way. So let me leave you with that. Once again, congratulations. Once again, thank you to all of you for all the effort that you've put in. I'm very chuffed on your behalf. By the way, just a quick, I know Kevin will absolutely say this and endorse this, but just a quick comment about sponsors, parents, loved ones, etc., people who've put up with you while you've been going through this. It's really important to acknowledge them as well. So thank you. Thanks, Melvie.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chris van der Werven. Very valuable lessons there. I can't stress it enough. Myself, I think some of your words really spoke to me there, Chris. As being an entrepreneur, you're only as good as your last job. You're as good as your own personal brand. And so much of that personal brand boils down to the moral character and integrity that you have. People want to work with people that they can trust. Yes, and as you pointed out, intelligence and energy are fantastic, but if lacking the moral character, it could end up in something somewhat undesirable. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing our absolutely phenomenal keynote speaker, Dr. Adriana Marais. So before I say a few words from her bio, I would really like to encourage you guys to go and have a look online, look her up on LinkedIn, look up the foundation, the videos that she has on YouTube. It is so inspirational, really. I cannot stress this enough. I was somewhat awestruck reading up everything that she has achieved and everything that she is busy with. So let me tell you a little bit more about Dr. Adriana Marais. Dr. Adriana Marais is a theoretical physicist specializing in quantum biology and the origins of life. I mean, wow, that is just so exciting. She is a researcher at Stellenbosch University and the National Institute for Theoretical and Computational Sciences. She is also an expert at Singularity University. As the director of the Foundation for Space Development Africa, she leads the Africa to Moon project, aiming to launch Africa's first moon mission. So keep that in mind, and if any of you have some moon aspirations. She's also the founder of Proudly Human, and Adriana prepares for extreme environments through the Off-World project. So again, I'd really like to encourage you guys to go and check that out. Dr. Adriana Marais, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here today, and we look forward to hearing what you are going to share with the Young Minds graduates. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mulvey. Thanks to the event organizers for having me here today. Thanks to the program organizers who guided the students through this program. And most importantly, we're here today to celebrate you, all the students. Congratulations on your achievements in the Young Minds program, and all the best for the future. Let me share my screen. So you may feel as though you are facing the unknown, and I think the current state of the world can feel a bit scary sometimes, but today I hope to share with you my true excitement for the future. I find that the unknown, rather than being an anxiety-inducing place, is really a very attractive place. So the allure of the unknown is what I call it, this draw, this curiosity-driven exploration, this kind of attitude with which we approach the future. So I'm going to share a few perhaps tips that have been useful to me in my navigation of the unknown. There will be a bit of a space theme here because that's really my passion. So let's kick off. So the unknown. In order to explain some of the concepts later, we're going to need some quantum physics. In fact, equation 1.27 is going to be quite important. So maybe take a pen because there is a quiz at the end and your results are going to be recorded for, I'm kidding. I do have a background in quantum physics, but today we're going to focus on pictures, videos, and some thoughts. So firstly, one of my favorite books of all time is Alice in Wonderland. And I think one of the things we must do, and dare will be a word I'm using a lot, because I think we have to be brave in the face of the future. This is an interesting time for life on Earth. In the 4 billion year history of life on Earth, we have greater challenges and opportunities today than ever before. We're on the brink of exploring and permanently inhabiting the spaces beyond our own planet with the permanent lunar bases planned for the next few years. Yet we face huge challenges here on Earth, and we need to deal with both of these opportunities and challenges in parallel, and we need to be brave to do that. So we need to have big dreams, and that's the theme for now. So let's go back to 2015 when I was selected as one of the 100 astronaut candidates for a one-way trip to Mars. There were 6 of us Africans amongst those 100. And funnily enough, 2024 was actually the year we were supposed to launch. So needless to say, I am still here on Earth, but let's go back in time, and I'll just play the video now to get in the spirit of what we thought would be the build-up to the first cruise leaving Earth.
I want to go to Mars not just to be a part of history, but to inspire people around the world.
The colonization of Mars is the adventure of the century.
This is our chance to get the world excited about space again.
If we can look up from Earth and know that human beings are living on another planet, will we ever again be able to tell ourselves that there's anything we can't do?
I want to contribute directly to mankind's confident expansion into the solar system, which we have to do if we're going to survive in the long term.
I believe it is in our nature and it is our destiny.
After I die, the impact of my life is imparted upon those who follow.
I know it comes at the cost of living Earth forever, but future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
So the exciting thing from your all's perspective, the exciting thing from your perspective is that we haven't yet embarked on that journey. That journey is yet to be made, and it could happen within the next decade. So this is truly an exciting time for humanity. I think living on the moon is an entry-level requirement to considering ourselves space explorers. Getting to the next planet is really a big milestone, and it looks like that's going to happen in our lifetime. So super exciting. So we've got to dare to dream big. Not all the dreams work out. Like I said, I'm still here on Earth. I'm in Hong Kong at the moment, but still on Earth. So as well as dreaming big, we have to ask big questions. This is a great book, but some of the questions I've asked in my research started some time ago. So this is me back in the 90s. Nowadays, high school students do like fancy projects with robotics and software engineering and all sorts. But this was the 90s, Pietermaritzburg, where I grew up. And our project was paper mache, but we were dreaming big. And this is a city on Mars. And as my mom has pointed out, I'm pretty much talking about the same thing as you'll see here today. Power systems, water systems, food systems, but also the community itself, the team that may be able to pull off becoming a first community to live beyond Earth. So is there life on Mars is of course one of the questions that's driven our exploration of Mars so far, all remotely achieved through rovers, landers and rovers more recently, and drones even more recently. But can we establish life on Mars is the other question that goes along with that. But so in my PhD, I looked at photosynthesis. This is the bacterial photosynthetic reaction center on the left. This particular structure has been with life almost its whole duration of 4 billion years. So a robust and highly efficient structure that has not been changed much through 4 billion years of evolution. So highly efficient structure. But when you're thinking about one of the oldest living processes on Earth, one of the most robust living processes on Earth, the natural next question is, what are the fundamental principles or requirements for life? Is there life elsewhere? What would it look like? Can we detect it? And is it related to us? So when studying life, this led me naturally to space, a passion of mine since I was a child. And, can we find evidence of life out there? Is it related to us? Will we be able to detect it? Was there life on Mars? These are some of the exciting questions that astrobiology addresses. And I was excited that the SKA may be able to help us look for the building blocks of life. But sadly, the high frequency capabilities of the SKA should only be ready in the 2030s. That's above 15 gigahertz. So currently they're working up to 15 gigahertz. So I wonder which will happen first, a high frequency SKA or getting to Mars to actually look for evidence of life. It's a toss up at this point. So those are some of the big questions that have driven my research. I think we also have to dare to endeavor. So take on big challenges, take those dreams, take those questions and try to bring them into reality. I'm sure you've heard of the Endeavour Shackleton's boat, fascinating story of perseverance. So my research on molecular astrobiology took me, and I was still working with NIFEP at the time, which changed its name to NIFEX. So thanks to that institution for supporting me for some years now on all of my crazy adventures, including to Mexico where, I don't know if you can see, that's me and Elon Musk. So I don't think he knew he was in that selfie. But that's about as close as I got to him. But this was an extremely exciting presentation. This was the first ever public announcement of SpaceX's plan to send crews to Mars, moreover to build a city on Mars of 1 million people in the next 100 years or so. So a truly monumental event, and a great day to see a South African not asking for funding to do this activity, but telling the world that this is his plan. Exciting time. So SpaceX needs to test the Starship first. It hasn't yet done an orbit around Earth, but a bunch of successful tests have been achieved. 2029 is probably ambitious. We'll be lucky to see humans on the moon by then. But the Starship is certainly, it's the most powerful rocket we've ever built and fit for purpose to be reused, completely reusable, and to deliver crews to and from the one-way trip. Starship will revolutionize the one-way trip. It can land, people could live in the lander, and it will be able to relaunch to come back to Earth. I could go on for ages. It will be methane fueled, which is a fuel you can produce on Mars from the carbon dioxide and the H2O that's in the surface ice there. So this has really been carefully thought out, and this may become a reality. I'm not sure about in the 2020s, but perhaps in the 2030s. So China has announced plans for crews to Mars in 2033. Again, this sounds quite ambitious. They are yet to put humans on the moon, but that's planned for later this decade. So yeah, you're really born at a lucky time in history to be at your young age, young minds, ready to tackle the kind of challenges both on Earth, but increasingly off Earth too, if that's what your dream may consist of. What an exciting time to see all of these developments happening. UAE has a particularly long-term view of a city on Mars. This was announced in 2017, so a 100-year plan. And if anyone can build a city in a desert on another planet, I think the combination of Elon Musk with the UAE and China could probably pull it off. So in 2019, I thought the time was right to start an organization which I called Proudly Human. I left my position at SAP to start training. It felt like we would be leaving imminently, and I wasn't sure that Mars One was going to do all of the necessary training, so I established Proudly Human. You can check out our website, proudlyhuman.com, and the idea would be that desert environments, with water management being the key challenge there, polar environments with energy being the key challenge there, and under ocean environments with breathable air and a kind of hostile exterior environment to the habitat would be great. A great collection of 3 environments to train for the moon and for Mars. So here's a beautiful video, which I could ask you where it is, but the name will pop up in a second. But this place is starting to look increasingly familiar, right? We're getting 4K footage back from the currently active Curiosity and Perseverance rovers. The Chinese rover was active until a couple of years ago. And the footage that's getting sent back is really already expanding our minds to the surface of Mars, and soon, hopefully, our bodies. So there's amazing footage online. I'm sure you've seen it. But the reason that we went to Namibia being that there's actually a dune on Mars called the Namib Dune because of the similarities not only in the look of the Namib Desert and the surface of Mars, but in the geological history. So you're going to see a rock now in a minute on the bottom left, which has evidence of water having created the structures in it. And just like Mars, Namibia was under the ocean around over 55 million years ago, I think it is. Mars had oceans a bit longer, between 2 and 4 billion years, we estimate, ago. So both of these environments used to have abundant liquid water, and on our deserts, they're also rich in iron oxide. So many similarities in the aesthetics, but also the properties of Namibia and Mars. So great place to train for Mars. We've done our location scout. We've got our partners in place with the different operators that we need to bring to produce our own water, our own power, build our own habitat, produce our own food. And use IoT systems to monitor all this in the desert. So I won't play the whole video, but you can check it out on YouTube if you're interested in seeing that. The next environment being Antarctica. So as you can see, this was the summertime, quite different to the winter. It actually wasn't that cold either, probably around 1 degree at midday. So pretty temperate for Antarctica anyway. A really exciting place to visit. Know when to sleep. because the sun, of course, doesn't go down. Very different to being there in winter, but I went to have a look at the infrastructure, so the airports and the deliveries that take place that even make me drive a car, especially modified Toyota for the kind of terrain there. Yeah, just to see the logistics, the food deliveries, you know, power, the heating, the communication systems, all of this is a challenge down there. So to understand the existing infrastructure, how our team would hopefully have survived the winter there. We haven't yet done the overwinter experiment, but met all the necessary partners. The additional challenge of being in Antarctica in winter is, of course, that solar power is not going to work so well. So wind turbines, hydrogen fuel cells, other kinds of redundant power systems that one would need to think about. Communications, since I visited in 2019, has been revolutionized by Starlink. So whereas there, Iridium, at that time, Iridium was the main option for communications, where you're paying like $10 a megabyte or something. Nowadays, you can pay your subscription and bring your Starlink device, even to Antarctica. So yeah, even in these last few years, things have changed significantly. This is talking to the chef about the food, which at this luxury base gets flown in a Gulfstream 500 from Cape Town. But we would have to make slightly different arrangements if we were to overwinter there. So the final environment.
Human world, it's a mess. Life under the sea is better than anything they got.
Visited the undersea research facility in Florida. I didn't get to visit the actual facility because there were astronauts in there at the time. This facility is actually built in the shape of the International Space Station, so that astronauts training to go there have the experience of a similar environment. Very similar in that you can scuba dive, you need to suit up to go outside of the base. And evacuation, in fact, takes 17 hours because you need to decompress. So it's really analogous to the space station, where in fact you can probably evacuate in a slightly shorter term if the vehicle's available in some kind of emergency. You'll have a look now at the space. It's 10 meters below the surface, between 17 and 10 meters below the surface, around 10 kilometers off the coast of Key Largo. Yeah, and Thomas Potts hosted me. He's been with the project since the 80s when it was built, when he was doing his master's program with the project. So an amazing facility, a unique one on Earth, in fact. So let me have a look at the time. We're good. So basically, when you're thinking about a human community, whether you're thinking about a refugee camp, an overcrowded urban city center, a community on Mars, the moon, you name it. When you're thinking about a community of humans, you need a shelter structure to house power, water, food, and communication systems. When you put it like that, it sounds pretty straightforward, but I think we don't have a good handle on our resource management strategies here on Earth or beyond. So in fact, living off Earth is a great opportunity to really push efficiency of resource management further than we have done here on Earth. Water management being an absolutely critical aspect of that, particularly when you leave Earth, because I think sometimes we take for granted that we're the only planet we know of that hosts liquid water on the surface, 71% of our planet. In that water lies hydrogen, the most natural fuel source, ask the sun. So we really do have access to resources here where food grows by itself. We don't have these kind of luxuries when we leave Earth. Even the communications constellations that we increasingly have access to now, we won't have. So those will all be things we'll have to set up, whether it be on the moon or on Mars. But basically those categories of infrastructure are the essential items wherever we would be. And of course, it's not just humans that we'd be supporting in these systems, but all of the bacteria that power digestion, maybe powering the wastewater management system, to the seeds that we bring, perhaps the insects, fish, and other protein sources and parts of the ecosystem that we bring to really take a thriving community from the surface of Earth to another location. So we were planning to build such a off-world settlement at the Cape Town Science Center, and then Mars One declared bankruptcy in 2019. That was okay because I'd established Proudly Human. I then went full swing with the establishment of Proudly Human. But then another thing happened, COVID. So I'm sure we all remember that time, interesting times. And then I would say we need to dare to persevere. So, you know, some people have said the only difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the ones who succeed never give up or die trying. So you've got to keep trying. I'm not sure that I have a lot of time to play this video. Maybe I'll skip ahead, but not to waste the time. We just had a settlement in the forest. I walked down there once. The only way to get there, access, so we can see settlement was you have to cross the river. This is on observation. Settlements on different structures that should be like enough to carry down there. Like 30 days. Cabin in the forest, so beautiful environment for the sheep, monkeys, birds, put some rivers and parks, you could drink the river water, drink it, and go upstairs. Great view from the toilet across the river, and we lived there for months, so it's really an opportunity to think about resources, like what is the minimum conditions that you can live comfortably under, like what was our power. We used gas, we used a generator, eventually batteries to charge our phones, car battery which we'd have to carry back up the hill, 20 kgs, charge it, bring it back down. We could get water from the river. We didn't do a greenhouse because it was approaching winter, as you know, and the signal down there was terrible. But that was definitely an interesting experience and one to really reflect on. So in my last few minutes, I'm going to talk about part of persevering is knowing when to change tack. So pivoting, as they like to say nowadays, but really reframing your challenge in a new way. And during the time of reflection, living down in the forest without much internet and with the world in a very crazy place at that point, I had some time to reflect and decided to compromise with the moon. Mars felt a bit far away at that point. Everybody's going to the moon nowadays, and so the moon became the target. You know, we're building the first ever lunar bases in the next few years. And so Carla Sharp-Mitchell and I and our other director, Kutso Ngashweng, are the directors of the Foundation for Space Development Africa. And we had a lot of time to think during lockdown. And Carla had in fact designed the Africa to Moon telescope some years ago. She works at the SKA, so I think it's a natural project that Africa, after building the SKA here in the Northern Cape, not here, you guys here in the Northern Cape in South Africa, it's a fitting extension of those ideas. So our foundation has designed a telescope, which is a low cost, low mass, low frequency telescope to look below 10 megahertz. It's a bunch of balls that act as an array, just like the antennas in the square kilometer array. And the US's Rolsey's radio astronomy instrument failed to send back data from the surface of the moon. China's radio telescope failed to send back data from the surface of the moon. So for the first time, as far as we're aware, Africa is in the running to do new science from the moon for the first time in the form of radio astronomy. So we are currently shortlisted with the Chang'e 8 mission, which will launch in 2028. And the final payloads will be announced next year in Shanghai in 2025. So fingers crossed, things are looking good. We've submitted extremely detailed proposals at this point that we will launch this telescope. Yeah, 2028, so something to look forward to. Really excitingly, the Foundation for Space Development Africa is now a partner on the Chinese base. So besides the telescope, we're also looking at doing a positioning system, which is necessary for radio astronomy, with accurate positioning and timing between the different array and components in the array. We can also do positioning, so that could be a contribution to the base itself. Very exciting. So in the spirit of collaboration of China, I mean, they've opened up calls for payloads on the various Chang'e missions with no cost involved. You just have to build the payload and ship it, test it and ship it to China. So in that spirit of collaboration, we really want this program to represent Africa. This is just a technology demonstrator at the lunar South Pole. But in the end, we want to launch 54 balls to the far side of the moon. And we want to represent all of Africa doing this. So these are our partners so far, and we kind of intend to continue expanding those. So we've got to be brave in facing the unknown, particularly in this interesting time for humanity and indeed for the planet. And we've also got to dare to make a difference. So what we hope to achieve through the Africa to Moon project is really that all 500 million children in Africa hear about it and are then inspired to reach for the stars in their own way, whatever that may be. So there's only so many classrooms we can visit personally, but we plan to roll out a syllabus that will reach Our goal is really every child in Africa to hear about the project, to feel a sense of participation in lunar exploration, to feel a sense of belonging in the solar system, and to feel a sense of excitement and that anything is possible going forward into the future, which I hope I've also been able to share here with you today. So we are not passengers on our particular spaceship at the moment, which is planet Earth hurtling around the sun. We are the crew, and how will we create a future that we can be proud of? It's only going to be through collaboration together. Each one of us needs to believe in our dreams and work towards achieving those dreams, and then collaborate with like-minded others in order to achieve those dreams. This is me photoshopped into Elon Musk's car, which he launched into space. Maybe you heard about that. So my dream is to explore the solar system. For now, I'm doing that from Earth with telescopes and other means. But yeah, never stop dreaming big. Never give up, and then we can really create a future that we can all be proud of. I wish you all the best. I know that the future is in good hands with all of the young minds, with all of your achievements you're celebrating today, what you've already achieved and going forward. Yeah, my thoughts are with you. All of the best, and thank you for having me here today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Adriana Marais. Guys, let's all give her a round of applause. We're going to clap here in studio. So inspirational. I was reminded while you were speaking of the quote by Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw that said, "All progress depends on the unreasonable man or woman." Thank you for reminding us to dream and to endeavor, and thank you for sharing the fact that, yeah, as Africans, we have a lot to share with the world, and we're also pioneering many exciting things, including space. So that is super fantastic. I also loved how what you shared, you know, whilst some of us might think, well, we don't have aspirations to go to the moon or to Mars or something like that. But whilst you were speaking, I just had these thoughts that what you're working on is very relevant for the challenges that we face here on Earth as well. I mean, as you mentioned, whether you're talking about refugee camps, crowded cities, or just, you know, off-world locations, the challenges that we have are more and more. And I was just checking the stats again. By 2050, the amount of climate refugees that are expected is ranging between 143 million to 1.2 billion, which is quite scary. It's over 4 times more on the minimum end than we have now. So the work that you are doing is absolutely going to contribute to making us also being more resilient here on Earth. And I think that is phenomenal. I think lastly, just from the Stellenbosch Business School Executive Education, we would just like to wish you, you know, the very best for the next chapters, for the Off-World project, for hopefully the launch of your space balls. So we'll be fingers crossed for you next year in 2025. And yeah, I think a final thanks to say thank you for sharing these inspirational words. It's invaluable. I've enjoyed it, and I have no doubt that the young minds here today have also really enjoyed that. So thanks again, Dr. Adriana Marais. It was amazing.
Thanks so much for having me.
Right, so next up, before we start with the procession, I'd actually like to, well, invite Kevin Henderson to the stage. So he's going to say a few words about the Young Minds program and all the amazing people that are involved in creating it. So thank you very much, Kevin Henderson.
Thank you, Melvi, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, guests. Welcome to those of you who are receiving certificates this morning. Very welcome as well. I'm so glad that I'm not a guest speaker or a keynote speaker this morning, because after what Adriana just did, you know, I'm still in awe, and I think I would have forgotten what to say if I didn't have to just do what I have to do for this morning. But it was really impressive to think about the principles that she's given in terms of persistence. And I was thinking about words that we often use when we speak about young people, like words that comes up, like, for example, why are you guys so stubborn? And I just realized you have to stubbornly pursue those dreams, which is the beautiful word that she gave us in terms of persistence to achieve those dreams that you are dreaming of. So I'm so happy that I can have this little part in this morning's celebration. A wise person once said, "In the heart of every young person lies the potential for greatness." And I think that the Young Minds program is exactly about that. It's exactly about playing our role to unlock that potential that we find in the hearts of young people. So how do we do that? We designed this program, and the program focuses primarily on 3 developmental areas, which is, amongst other, the personal mastery aspect, the business acumen aspect, as well as the entrepreneurial thinking aspect as well. For the participants to be successful in terms of how they are achieving the certificates today, they had to go, apart from attending all those classes, they also had to do the following. Amongst other, had to pass 2 exams. They had to complete assignments successfully. They also had to, at the end, present a life plan as well as a business plan, which they have developed within their teams, within their syndicate teams as well. And they were supported, first of all, by coaches, in which they had at least 5 individual coaching sessions or life coaching sessions. But they were also aptly supported by the learning process facilitator in the person of Dr. JP Cronje. Now, I'm going to invite JP to say a kind word, but before I do that, I think it's also just fitting for me to acknowledge the faculty and everyone involved within the Young Minds program. To the faculty, I want to say a great thank you for your commitment. In fact, I was looking at the audience this morning, and what a pleasure to see so many of you being present today. And I think that's testimony of your commitment to our young people, not only to present to them your knowledge, your experience, but learning from them as well. And more importantly, being willing to celebrate with them as they celebrate a particular milestone in their lives as well. But I think I won't complete my job if I don't say thank you to someone that the Young Minds participants will see as almost like a mother, which was our program manager. So a special word goes out to Samantha Abrams, who was the program manager for this program during 2025. And then I need to acknowledge also not only faculty, but those life coaches. They are in the room this morning. Your work with our young people has been significant, and the kind of things I've experienced whilst they were doing the final presentations bears testimony of the important work that you've done while working on the Young Minds program. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to wrap my little part up, but I think it's only fitting for me to say again, thank you to Dr. JP Cronje. JP has journeyed with the participants. They've had many different faculty coming in, but he was that center, that axis around which the young people could come to and deal with some of the challenges as they were journeying on the program. And so, JP, I invite you, I want to say thank you first of all, but more importantly, invite you to come and maybe just share with the audience your experience of the Young Minds program during 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, your hands and mine as we welcome JP Cronje.
Thanks for the kind words, the introduction. Yeah. Look, I think it's a great honor and privilege to have a chat to the Young Minds again, because it feels like such a long time since I've last seen them. But it's great having them in the room. But I think equally it's such a privilege to maybe just give a perspective on their performance to their parents as well, which is also an integral stakeholder in the success of the program. So I think I've got the best seat in the house. I'm like the rugby referee. I'm right there where the action is. I think that's the benefit of the LPF. I walk with them every step of the way. So there's so many highlights that I can share, particularly with this group. But just a few things I want to share, particularly with the students, but also the parents as well. As I say, maybe I see a dimension of the participants that they don't. I'm a parent myself, and you often wonder what does your kid show up in terms of at university or in class, whatever. So yeah. If I think about the collective group, I think there's 3 things that stand out to me. One is commitment and participation and the way they embraced feedback and collaboration. So I think the commitment in terms of how they've embraced the program, the commitment to their own learning and development has really been commendable. And I think that's really evident in the quality and the high marks that the group and the individuals achieved. And I think I don't want to compare cohorts to previous years, but I can confidently say that this group has raised the bar in many aspects in terms of that. And one of those would definitely be their commitment to the program, as well as their own learning and development. I think it must be a great compliment to the parents as well, and kind of the caliber and the work ethic that the students participated during the program. And I mentioned participation as well. Yes, it was equally impressive. They really engaged with every single element of the program, whether it was a life plan, the business plan, attending lectures, the life coaching. I think, yeah, that's also, once again, I think it says something about the work ethic and character and their hunger to embrace opportunities and improve themselves. So it's been great in terms of how they just, the enthusiasm they showed to engage with every single element of the program. It's been really great. And I think that sets them apart as a truly remarkable group. And then in terms of the way they've embraced feedback and how they collaborated, I think, the only way you can grow and develop if you react to feedback that you get. And I think the good thing about the Young Minds is, with the help of the life coaches, the faculty, and feedback on assignments, we do give them feedback. But I think what was quite impressive for me is the way they've embraced this feedback. And that for me, it was clearly evident, for example, a life plan, how the students or the Young Minds grown in confidence and the perspectives they have about themselves every single step of the way. And that was informed by feedback from so many stakeholders on the program. But I think that stands out as a unique feature of this particular group, how they really embraced that feedback. And if you take that forward going in life, you will be successful. Sometimes you do get feedback that you don't want to get, but sometimes there's an invaluable learning opportunity. So I want to encourage you to continue with your commitment to whatever you engage with, participate in whatever you do in the future, and embrace feedback as a source of learning and development. But I think the highlight of the program normally for me is from an individual growth and development perspective. As I said, I walk with them every single step of the way, and it's always so interesting to see the version that arrived in March, and the version we see today, which is significantly different. So having said that, I think it's important for the participants in the room that I don't want you to link your growth and development this year based on a mark that you've achieved for an assignment. Remember, a mark that we assign is somebody's perspective in a specific moment in time. I rather want you to reflect in terms of the personal growth and the new perspectives you have about yourself and the perspectives you have about what is possible for you. I think that is the true benefit of a program like the Young Minds. I mean, you're a lot more confident. You have a different view about the world, what is possible. So I really want you, when you reflect about the Young Minds, it's great to have, I think it's also always nice to have great marks. But I don't want you to link your development purely to a mark, because maybe you obtained a mark which wasn't what you wanted. It doesn't mean there wasn't growth and development, but I want you to think and reflect in terms of how did you change as a person? How did you change as an individual? And I certainly hope that the parents also observe the change in behavior. I think if I remember the first time when you had to do your business plan presentations and your life plan presentations, and the level of confidence that we've seen at the end, you can't recognize the student in terms of the way they've grown. And I often wish that we could capture that moment and share that with the parents to say, you would not believe how much your child has grown and developed. So I want you to think about those moments in terms of where you had to present complex concepts which you've only been introduced for the first time. You embraced it and you did it. You did an excellent job. For me, that is the success of the program, overcoming certain fears and building that confidence. So I'm confident to say I think the success for me in terms of the version of the Young Minds student that we welcomed in the NLC in March 2024 is a significantly different version that we sent into the world. So I think I could not be more prouder as an LPF that I could walk and somehow contribute to that. I think that is a true essence of the program and the success. So yeah, and in conclusion, as you step forward into the next chapter, because that's where you are right now, maybe some of you already taken that next step in terms of what the next chapter holds. I want you to remember this, is that the future doesn't happen. Okay, you have to shape it. If things don't happen automatically, you need to take ownership and be intentional. So shape the future, embrace each opportunity, and trust in your unique potential, and never stop learning. I think that theme has been consistent today. Never stop learning and stop developing. So the world out there is waiting for your impact. Don't conquer the world. So go confidently, make it extraordinary, as a proud Young Minds alumni. And I wish you all the best for the future. Congratulations on completing the program, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. Thanks and good luck.
Thank you so much. Let's give JP and Kevin both a round of applause. You both spent a lot of time thanking other individuals as well, but also from Stellenbosch Business School Executive Education side, on behalf of that, on them, I would like to just say thank you to you, Kevin and JP, for the amazing wisdom, guidance, and kindness, I think, that you bring to the program. It's so obvious when you're talking that you're so passionate about what you're doing and so passionately involved in the futures of young people. And JP, as you said there as well, you know, the future, it doesn't just happen, it needs to be shaped. So do you feel control in this aspect that you have of your own futures? Right. Now it is the moment that we have all been waiting for, the certificate award procession. So just quickly, how it's going to work, we're going to scroll through all the student names individually that participated in the program. Then we're going to announce the top group as well as the top student for Young Minds 2024. Again, I'd like to remind you, please unmute your mics, scream your whoop whoop, celebrate, clap, do whatever, however you feel comfortable celebrating. We want to hear you. This is the part now where you do unmute a mic and you do make a noise, and as much noise as possible is what we're looking for. So let's all celebrate together now the amazing accomplishment for Young Minds 2024. And also feel free to like your comments in the chat if you don't like anything, then congratulations, Amanda. Hope I pronounced everybody's name correctly. Congratulations, Young Minds. Lucas. Donna. Oh, I love your voice. There in the photo. Congratulations, Taylor. Yay! Good, lovely second and congratulations. Amazing, guys. Think of the year that's just gone. Sebastian, can you believe it? Yesterday was March, now you guys are done. Congratulations. Darren. Woo! Well done, guys. It was so nice to have you back. I was very cool. It was an absolute pleasure at the engagement class. Dandre, well done. Dan, well done. Good. Woo! See the comments coming through on the chat line. Please share, comment, it's crazy. Congratulations. Congratulations, Danielle. You guys should feel very proud of yourself. Well done. Well done. Ina. Amazing. Becky. Well done, guys. And Daniel. On your cameras, it's exciting. Thanks, guys. Really feel proud of yourself. Amazing. Too bad. Super. Well done, everyone. Amazing accomplishment. I'm so proud of yourself. Black, congratulations. I think a lot of people are really good. Guys are going to go to the beach to celebrate year one. Connor, congratulations. Amazing. Well done, everyone. Well done. Good job. Connor. Ali. Well done. Congratulations. Good look. Hey, the background is Reese. And he's so black. When he hears you guys.
Quanto a explichiamo che stiamo lì.
Fantastic. Daniela, congratulations.
But
Amazing. Sweet. Okay. Congratulations. Well done, well done. Amazing, congratulations. Very well done. Congratulations. Anika. Woo! Class of 2024 and William. Congratulations to all the individual students. Class of 2024. Young minds, amazing, well done, well done. And so now, what we have up next is who was the top team for 2024? Let's do a drum roll. Top group for Young Minds class of 2024 is...
Zet jou goedjies af, hy's op auto.
Yay!
Well done, Menu Mafia.
Where's Menu
Sorry,
Mafia?
yeah.
Are you in the house? Mute. Let's hear it from Menu Mafia. Congratulations, team.
As ek jou kar net gou af, dan is
well done, well done. Anyone from Menu Mafia want to say a quick word? Excited, surprised? Congratulations to the team. Well done. And of course, well done to all of you. Amazing. You heard what JP said earlier. Young Minds is about a journey of personal growth. And as you've heard today, we've certainly seen that from all of you, and undoubtedly your parents and other sponsors have done so too. Okay, and now for one more award. So top student class of 2024 is, let's do a drum roll. And congratulations to Holly with an average 90.31%. Wow, congratulations, Holly. Holly, I saw you earlier. Holly, do you want to unmute and maybe share a few words? How are you feeling?
I'm really surprised, but really happy because I worked really hard this year. I feel very lucky.
Congratulations. Are your parents around?
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, they're sitting right there and they're celebrating so
Tell them
much.
to come with you quickly onto the screen.
Come with us. Okay. Shane, we in the living room, like the entire family gather around.
Proud mom and dad.
Watching in the background. Yeah. Anyway, so very happy.
Mom and dad want to say anything?
Thank you very, very much. This was a wonderful stepping stone for her.
And Holly
Fantastic.
absolutely loved
Thank
the
you so much.
so thanks
Thank
very
you.
much
Let's
to all
give
of
Holly
you.
another. Oh, sorry, Holly's dad. I broke you off there. Go ahead.
Holly absolutely loved her year, so thanks very much to all of you. It really was great.
Thank you very much.
so much.
Thank you.
Everybody, you heard that. And
Thank you.
Holly.
very much a co-created experience as well, where it's not only about the sessions that we present, but as well as what the learnings that are created between peers on the program. And that's amazing. Thank you so much. Congratulations again to all the individual certificate holders, to the top team, Menu Mafia, and of course to Holly as top individual student. You have all done amazing. Congratulations. As the screen says over there, the future awaits, and it's certainly going to be a very enticing one. Okay, we are approaching the end of our proceedings now. So I'd just like to hand over to Kevin Henderson one last time to say some final thanks and share some tributes.
Thank you very much, Malvi. And once again, congratulations to all the participants and recipients of their certificates this morning. Just give me apologies about that. So congratulations again, the joys of having to work from home. I would just like to say a huge thank you to everyone being present this morning. So lovely that you could bring all the spirit, or as we in South Africa would say, the gees. So thank you so much for being there, keeping your cameras switched on as well. And like I said, a special thank you or congratulations to the winning team. Menu, what is the name again? I've forgotten now. Yeah, but to that particular team, Menu Mafia, my apologies, as well as to Holly, congratulations again on your amazing achievement as well. I think the Young Minds has been quite a spectacular year for us. We've been journeying since the time of COVID, and we were trying to get things right and work it out so that all of us can benefit immensely from it. And I think we're getting closer, and we're continuing to improve this. But thank you so much for the special group of youngsters who was part and parcel of this year. Allow me then further to say a huge thank you to Dr. Adriana Marais for the insightful and inspirational keynote address. I'm sure that the young people and also those of us who are a bit older, I've noticed Grant Evans's comment, volunteering there as well. But thank you so much for inspiring us. So even at our rich age, we can still feel inspired. So that must be something very special that you've shared with us so that we can feel that way. I think most importantly, I would like to thank you for reinforcing what Young Minds is about, for reinforcing our youngsters to be able to pursue their dreams and to dream big, but most of all also to be persistent in pursuing that dream as well. I would neglect my duty if I don't say a huge thank you to the parents and the sponsors. Thank you for your investment into your young people, but most importantly, thank you for supporting them and stepping back when you had to, whilst at the same time stepping up when you had to as well. We really appreciate your contribution to the year for the youngsters as well. Then I think it would just be very fitting for me to also just thank our MC for this morning, Dr. Malvi Todd. Malvi has not only been an amazing MC with us, but she's also been part of the Young Minds faculty for 2024 as well. So Malvi, thank you for navigating this journey with us this morning. Really appreciate your contribution to all our programs, but in particular to the Young Minds program as well. I also just want to acknowledge the open enrollment team. I specifically refer here to our PMs, in particular Samantha Abrams, but also Claire Kelly for your leadership and everyone involved in the back end of things, Amira Lewis, etc., for what you are doing to make this program a huge success. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning's proceedings, all of what you are seeing doesn't just automatically happen. And I think I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our marketing team, the marketing team led by Kelly Smalley. There was a time that I thought to be in marketing, you need to have the name Chanel. But I've learned since then, now it's not necessary because they also added a Jane. So at this point in time, let me say a huge thank you to Kerry, to Chanel Bowers, Chanel Tromot, and then also Jane Lewis for the amazing work that you guys are doing in the back end. No one has an idea of how much time and energy you invest in that. And we just want to say this morning, we acknowledge you and we appreciate everything that you do to make our celebrations a huge success. As I am about to close out, I think it's also then fitting to just say again, thank you to the Young Minds participants of 2024, the class of 2024. Thank you for sort of partnering with us as SBS Ed in your learning journey. We know that this will be an experience, not only around the marks that you've received, but the experiences and the memories that you've built over this year will stay with you for a very, very long time, the long part of your life. So I want to say to you as the Young Minds class of 2024, the only person responsible for your happiness is you. So I want to invite you to stop shrinking to fit into places that you've already outgrown. Remember that freedom isn't the ability to say yes. It sometimes is the ability to say no. And on that note, I want to say congratulations to all of us as we enter into this festive season. May we have a beautiful time of relaxation and rejuvenation as we take a break over the holiday period as well. Thank you so much, and over to Melvie. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Yes, no, absolutely some great pointers there as well. It's been a long year, so it's also time to work hard is done, so it's time to do the play hard part very soon. So I couldn't help myself, but last night I was thinking I'd love to also share one or two thoughts before I leave, and I feel that's also because I was also one of the facilitators on the program this year. So I had a look, and something that came up was Warren Buffett's 10 best ideas to help you win at business and life. But in the interest of time, I decided to pick just 3. And of course, these have been slightly remixed by Alvin Fu, ex-Google rockstar employee and currently a venture capitalist. So I chose 3, and I chose these last night before I knew what everybody was going to say today. So it's quite interesting to hear that Dr. Chris van der Werven also mentioned Warren Buffett. And then I think you will also hear the repetition here in some of the points that I've mentioned in terms of who was talking to these points earlier today. So the first one is, a majority of life's errors are caused by forgetting what one is really trying to do. We set goals, we pursue them, and then we get distracted. To achieve something meaningful, you need to constantly correct course. We heard that today. Set a North Star and keep it front of mind. And I really think Dr. Adriana Mare was exemplary of that, having this North Star in mind and persevering and enduring, and also, changing tack when required. The second one that I chose was, those who keep learning will keep rising. So many people stop learning at age 18, but knowledge is an asset that compounds over time. The more you know, the better you think. Better choices create consequences. So schedule time to study. And congratulations for already doing so this year with the Young Minds program. And then finally, I think this one is especially important amidst all the AI, and we're wondering whether humans are going to be needed at all in the end. So in the spirit of humankind, the best thing a human can do is to help another human being know more. The best way to live your life is in service to other people, especially now with all the online opportunities. Be generous with your ideas, share what you know, and help others win. And with that, I'd like to conclude today's proceedings. Congratulations again from all of us here today on your Young Minds certificates. We are super proud of you. Congratulations, and go and enjoy, go and celebrate now your amazing accomplishments. Thanks again to everybody, and have a great holiday.
Jerusalem.